Alright, y'all, so I did not want to make this video, but it's something about today's day and age when it comes to modern women in general, of how they're going to leave their spouse because of them going through crisis, health issues, finance issues, and all of that. But what I'm not understanding about this whole thing is the fact that you leave your husband after he got diagnosed with cancer and you couldn't even spend a few moments with him during his final hours. Women like this don't deserve to breathe on earth. They don't deserve respect. They don't deserve love. They don't deserve pity. They don't deserve empathy. And they don't deserve sympathy. And what makes it so weird is that her therapist is just gaslighting this whole thing as if she's done the right thing by leaving her sick husband, thinking that she did the right thing by doing that, but she didn't. Because as a man, this really pissed me off so much, because if I was diagnosed with cancer, if my wife would have stood by me, oh, you best believe I have the best woman in my life. But women like this, she's made tons of excuses as to why she rushed into marriage in the first place. Because ain't none of y'all don't know each other. So basically this sounds like you just used them, because it only benefited you. It says, wife who divorced her husband for drowning in self-pity after discovering he was dying from testicular cancer explains why she has no regrets. Yeah, right. Stop the cap, lady. You are a horrible person. Stop the cap. And you see, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. When women like this get away with so much, they will never take any accountability for their own actions. Even her own in-laws want nothing to do with her after what she did. And now she want to say that, oh, I have no regrets. That sounds like a feminist move, to say the least. I'm not buying anything she says out of her mouth at all. I'm just not. A woman who discovered her husband while he was suffering from cancer has revealed why she has no regrets. Jennifer, a life coach from Russia who now lives in Singapore, got married when she was just 22 years old, and looking back, she wishes she hadn't tied the knot before she was 30. So let me get something straight. Even though you rushed in the relationship, you rushed in the marriage, you wish you never got married at 30. When you were the main one that made a decision of marrying a guy who's fighting for his life. If you calling yourself getting married to a person that you don't know, you need some serious therapy. Alright? Don't think just because you're an adult you can just do whatever you want. There are some serious consequences that come with it. And fellas, if you're watching this also, do not marry women like this. Don't you ever put a ring on a disgusting monster like her. Because women like this in the West, they exist in the worst way possible. So evil, so vile, so conniving. Like, it's literally getting to a point that ain't nobody getting married in the future. By 2030, it's going to get way worse. Because feminism has gone way too far with this crap, honestly. Her husband, who was 15 years her senior, was diagnosed with testicular cancer 3 months into their marriage, and she stayed with him for another 5 years. Okay, then why did she decide to leave him there? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If you knew you had cancer, why did you decide to just divorce him? Because as a wife, you're supposed to stick by your husband's side throughout thick and thin, not just leave them and leave them to die. Before his diagnosis, Yana said her husband was always one to drown in self-pity, and after years of mental anguish, she called it quits. once to her in-laws this thing. I rushed into that marriage. I don't think women should marry before 30. We had no idea who we are, and we don't know what is a good partner for us, the 40-year-old explained. So let me get something straight. Once again, you claim that you rushed into the marriage not knowing who you are, not knowing who your life partner is, and yet you signed on to this. You knew what it was when you signed up. You signed the marriage contract. And when your husband got sick, you decide to leave him in the dust. And yet you stuck with him. Because you don't know what that partner is going through unless you help them get to where they need to be. So instead of you allowing him to drown in self-pity, thinking about himself, trying to survive in this daily disease, you just want to call it quits. I mean, seriously, how evil can you be as an ex-wife to leave your husband who is dying from this deadly disease, worse than COVID, worse than HIV, worse than HPV? Listen, cancer doesn't care who you are, how old you are. If it appears, fight for it. Fight for your life. Dude, you better stay by your man's side. And that goes for you too, fellas. If your woman is diagnosed with cancer, you better stick by her side too. Don't you dare leave her as well. But this broad over here trying to justify her actions as if getting married before 30 is a bad idea. You the one made that decision. You're the one that made that decision in the first place, woman. Yennefer picture from Russia, who now lives in Singapore and got married when she was just 22 years old, and looking back, she wishes she hadn't tied a knot before she's 30. Well, like I said, you made your beds and now you had to lie in it. And now your in-laws don't want nothing to do with you because of what you've done. You ain't taking no accountability for your actions whatsoever, because you're a typical modern woman who is so damn selfish that thinks about herself rather than someone that she loves and cares about. She just flat out leaves the man. Like, you can't make this up. How do you do that? Yenna met her husband about a year before they tied the knot. And while they had a good relationship, she believes it never stood a chance after he fell. So the person I do trust is Jesus Christ himself. I'd rather trust in the Lord than to trust any human being in my life. But I was worried that we wouldn't be able to have children. Yanni explained that while there is a lot of support available for people when they are diagnosed, this support doesn't always extend to those around them. We got married in Switzerland. My husband was Swiss, and then we moved to New York. He was working for a company who transferred him there. She said, I was learning English at the time. I had no friends, no relatives. I was in total isolation with no support system. Sounds like an excuse. We couldn't really think about our future. How can you plan for your future as a newly married couple when you're struggling with something like cancer? You can still do it. You can still plan a future with your spouse, even if they survive or don't survive with cancer. At least you could have done was help them out instead of just allowing them to self-pity. You see, this is the shit that pisses me off about these modern women. They don't care. They don't care when you're sick or dying. They would rather just leave you and get somebody else that is not sick. That is selfish. This whole thing reminds me of a clip with Kendra when she interviewed a baby mom when I think her husband was in the hospital fighting for his life, dying of cancer. And she was like, oh, I'm going to wait for him to die so I could get with another person. Do you know how sick that is? I'm telling y'all, this is a this is a sickness. It is beyond a typical sickness of how these modern women act because of feminism. When your husband is dying of cancer, you leave him. And then you get with another person. The fuck? I mean, excuse my language for saying this though, but I'm just so tired of seeing stuff like this because these people are evil. And she is definitely an evil, like an evil woman. No cap. Yana says at the time, society was less aware of mental health, so much so that even medical professionals never asked how she was coping. Like it's about you. Did you ever start to think that maybe your husband is having a mental health crisis as well? Did you ever stop to think about his mental health before you were thinking about yourself? Help me make it make sense. Okay, that I am with it. Why would you wait 6 months to say the word cancer? Your husband is sick. Why did it take you that long to say that? I don't get it. And you wonder why a lot of men in the West don't want to get married to these women. We saw different kinds of doctors. Not a single person ever offered me help. Again, you're thinking about yourself. It's not about you, it's about your husband. They never asked, do you need support system? Are you part of the counseling group? I was hoping for the best with my ex-husband's cancer, but then years went by and I started to lose hope. It was 5 years with all the treatments and it started to change the dynamics within our relationship. It wasn't until that 5th year that I started to think about leaving. Boom, there it is right there. You see, when women think that, no. When modern women be in this fantasy land or this fantasy bubble of wanting to date a rich man and have a rich man take care of them and they don't have to do anything in the relationship, which is a red flag. First of all, that's the feminist act. And second of all, even rich people get sick. What, you gonna stick by their side too? Of course not. You're gonna probably leave them. Bro, I've never been so embarrassed in my life to be a man right now because if my woman did that to me, oh, I wouldn't speak to her again. I'll divorce her too. I mean, listen, I think I would have rather get my passport and go to the Philippines. That's probably what I would have done. Because women here don't love you for who you are, leave them. And says this bimbo of a wife left her sick husband, she did the unthinkable. Like she's making it about herself. pathetic, bro. But I feel like I couldn't say anything. When someone is dying next to you, you feel like you can't talk about your own well-being because you could. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is that gaslighting I'm talking about. They always do this. It's always about them, but it's not even about their partner who is fighting for their life. She's making it about herself. It's like she's not thinking about her husband. She's thinking about herself clearly. And it is so obvious to me that these evil individuals don't deserve to get married or to be in any relationship. Karma will get their way. Karma is going to bite them in the behind because of this stupid decision of leaving their partner while they're sick and dead. How do you make this up? Seriously. Yana said that everything changed for her when she... No. Yana said that everything changed for her when one of her friends took their own life. And she attended their open casket funeral, which brought home for her own fragile mental state. So, one of your friends took their own life, but you went to their funerals, but you wouldn't even stay by your husband's side. Listen, we know that your husband died of cancer, but you want to go to his funeral too? No, you wouldn't. Women like this are disgusting. I'm sorry, bro. It was my first funeral, and it was very shocking. In my mind at the time, suicide became an option, even though I had never considered that before. I was in such a bad state, she explained. It was very clear to me that if I didn't save myself, I was probably going to die. Bitch, what? So, if you didn't save yourself, you were going to die. The same way you left your husband while he was dying of cancer. Like it's about you. Oh, this is pissing me off so bad, man. Like I can't believe these type of females exist. I'm sorry. You're not a woman, you're a female. You leave your man who was fighting for his life in his deathbed because you claim that nobody has ever offered you mental health or whatever. Like, stop making excuses. You clearly made it about you. Bro, this is so disgusting, bro. Like, I can't believe women like this exist. Oh my God, yo. Seriously. So Yana made a decision to divorce her ex-husband, and it was an understandably difficult time for both of them. No, it was not a difficult time. She made her choice of leaving her ex-husband. She made it big, and now she had to lay in it. I'm telling you, in 5 years or so, she's gonna end up being alone, miserable, dying with cats and dogs, all because she made a stupid decision like this. And Kevin Samuel said it best. You buy a dog, you die alone. And that is exactly what's gonna happen. His main focus was more and more about him. At the beginning of his treatment, he was still checking on me. He felt even more pity for himself because of the divorce. She said, oh, Jesus, bro. So, even when he was getting treatment, he was still checking on you to see if you were okay. So, it wasn't even about him. It was about you the entire time because of how you want to leave this dark state. Wow. You know what? I'm not buying anything this woman says out of her mouth, because anything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. It's a damn lie, bruh. That's all it is. This woman has made so much excuses. Even her therapist was gaslighting the whole thing and just made it worse. she did not did the right thing. Her former in-laws want nothing to do with her. Even his in-laws want nothing to do with her. They were even more disappointed. And she's over here acting like she didn't do a bad thing. You did. You left your sick husband in a deathbed. He's dead because of that. Wow. I can't say that he was hugely supportive, but it was understandable. How was it understandable when you left your husband? How? What was even harder was reaction of society, which I didn't expect. People sent me horrible messages. I didn't want to, I didn't want to call it hatred, but it was close to that. People were in pain and they wanted to blame someone. His family was so disappointed. I bet they were disappointed because of you. You caused this. You did this. You left someone that they love in the hospital, and you did not put any care and time and effort to care for someone who was in their worst moment of their life. You did that. So instead of you playing that victimhood, take some accountability. But no, you don't want to do that. You would rather just act like what you did was justifiable. This is making me sick to my stomach, bruh, honestly. Her former in-laws were so disappointed, she says she didn't inform Yana. Her former in-laws were so disappointed, she says they didn't inform Yana of his passing 2 years later, even though he had been remarried. Well, he probably got remarried because he was dying of cancer, which means that somebody else in his life loved him. They stepped by his side, unlike you. You the one chose to leave him. You the one chose to move on with your life and your pathetic, miserable life. That was all you're doing. So don't sit there and get mad at everybody for not telling you when you the one decided to leave him. Even if he got remarried with somebody loved him throughout thick and thin, unlike you. Yana faced widespread disapproval for leaving her her sick husband at the age of 27. She explained that she still went with him to his doctor's appointments and supporting him as much as she could after they separated. She then began to difficult process of carving out of life and identity alone, having failed to establish a solid career path for herself okay, this is just stupid. Once again, she's victimizing herself, even though she had a career that she couldn't even drop to be with her sick husband during that difficult time. Bro, these niggas out here making me sick, bro. I'm sorry. Sometimes, as a man, I just want to know, why do women like this exist? And if that's the case, why did... I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. And, there's a reason why I'm ranting like this. It's because this is how I fear going into a relationship with someone who doesn't even love me for me. And even if I'm in my darkest time, in my worst moments of my life, they're going to probably leave me too. So now I'm going to have to get therapy and work myself up for somebody to love me and appreciate me. And even they're going to understand my reasonings. Because women like her don't deserve to breathe. No. Women like her don't deserve to breathe on earth. They don't even deserve a life. There's a special place for her in hell that she deserves and she belongs. After she left him, she's gonna have more coming to her, y'all. I'm telling you. Translatable, it was in developed countries, so I decided to pursue a different career, which I felt would have more meaning, she said. I want to help. What the? Yo, seriously? This woman is lying again. How you gonna say you want to help somebody when you can't even help your sick husband? You know what? The biggest thing I learned from my life is never marry a modern woman like this. I don't care where they from, they're all modern. They all have a sick mind like this. Listen, man, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this video. The article will be down below.